Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Can you hear it well?
Yes.
So, all right. So here we go again with discussions about possible other theories other than flat Earth. And what I don't understand is it would be flat if it was in a crater. And that's the thing. The crater thing excites me because I always wondered, well, if there's an ice wall, if it's flat and there's an ice wall, what's on the outside of that? And we think, oh, um, infinite land, because infinite space is easy to think about. Infinite land, like, I just don't know. But
Well,
I
I mean,
always
what does one really seem that much more preposterous than the other? Not really.
exactly but it should be the same. So I always thought that was interesting. And then I get into the stars and I'm like, okay, if the stars are also a reflection, now I'm looking at stars. I've taken enough photographs of stars. And I'm like, what? Water above, water below. Are those things in water? Is everything outside of the moon surface water? Or is it all water outside of the dome? I mean, all these questions. I don't know what's going on with this thing now. I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what's going on. There you go. Got rid of that. Um, that was a big one for me too. Now, because I was looking at these different stars and the different colors and shapes and the way they move, because I'm getting such a good zoomed in shot of it, and I'm just looking at these videos and I'm thinking, I don't know if it's on the other side of water and it's a reflection. Is that what's causing the reflection? Is the dome causing the reflection? It looks like it's moving, but is that the reflection just glaring? You know, it gets harder and harder for me to go along with the stars are um, also a reflection of the entire Earth plane. I like it. The reflection would be further, it'd be more distorted. Some of those stars look pretty clear. We're actually going to look at a video I got set up off of God Give a Mistake, his channel, and that he talks. I'm pretty sure he finds these planets, and I was going to have us look at that. But I'm still, I'm like, the more and more I look at this stuff, the more and more I want to get away from it. But I don't have any reasons. I don't have any proof. I have no proof that I really, I like a lot of the stuff this guy says, especially the creator stuff. But a lot of the other stuff I don't. I'm like, oh, that could be. Yeah, that's neat. That's a theory. That's cool. That's interesting to think about. I don't understand a lot of the energy things he talks about, which I feel like I should. Um, I don't know. Is there anything you wanted to get into, Sag?
No, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm sorry. I right when you went into that spiel, I got a phone call I had to take real quick. But
Oh, it's fine. This believe me, at 6:30 this morning when I thought I was doing the show at 7, I'm like, thank God. That would have been brutal.
well, let me say that I'm not like before we get even too far into the discussion or too far into it. I'm I'm open minded about the whole thing. If I had to take a um I don't know if I had to say that I'm one like if I'm I guess I'm at a loss for words here. I don't, bear with me here.
Oh,
All
don't
right,
do
so
that to me.
I know,
You're the
right?
one that keeps these things going.
Right. Well, my point I'm trying to make is I'm not a flat earther. Okay, I don't believe the Earth is flat, but nor am I 100 totally percent convinced that we're a tiny ball flying in space. And I do lean toward the whole firmament concept. Ever since I discovered, flat Earth and watched hundreds and thousands of hours of videos of it, and totally absorbed the whole argument and what it has to offer. I walked away with some with doubt about with doubt about what the shape of the Earth may actually be, and the fact that there may or may not be a firmament. I lean towards the firmament theory more than I lean toward the flat Earth theory, but I do think that it's something worthy of anybody to explore beyond what you can find out on a Google search engine, because you type in flat Earth on a Google search engine and you're not going to find anything relevant. I can tell you that much. You have to go to a site like Eric DeBay or actually he's pretty much the only one that I can say with certainty that um he, that he with some certainty that he he puts together the most scientific compelling argument that I've heard. The way I discovered flat earth was through Mark Sargent, the 200 proofs or something like that. I don't know if you're
Yeah,
familiar
I enjoyed
with.
that. Yeah, I am familiar with that. I enjoyed that.
And then I started listening to Mark Sargent, and I realized that he sounds more like controlled opposition or a shill than he does a genuine flat earther. And I think that a lot of these flat earth channels on YouTube in general
Now, one
are
thing
are feeding us um, are feeding them just what they want to hear. They're not really groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination. But with all that being said, I do think that there is something to the argument. I think they offer something relevant to the conversation, and I think it's something that somebody should um, at least um, give it a minute of consideration before you totally dismiss it. And that's where I'm at on all of this. And that's what we're here to do today with this theory, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just look at everything, just see what's going on. Me investigating, trying to come up with more crater, moon, Earth stuff. I've come across all kinds of stuff, all different other kinds of theories that I wasn't even aware of. The one that stuck out for me was the one where the guy said the moon itself is a reflection of Earth, not a crater, the whole moon.
Yeah, and
And
I find that to be intriguing as well. There's a lot of mystery with the moon. I mean, and it dates back for as long as there's been man, right? I mean, the moon does have an effect on a lot of things. I mean, from what I understand, the the high tides could correlate with the fullness of the moon. Um, and they also um, coordinate with the moon itself. And every day, I know down here we have a high tide and a low tide, and it correlates with the position of the moon. I mean, you have I know that on a full moon, things are known to be kind of crazy, and 911 calls are often elevated during a full moon, or during when the moon is almost full or near full, as compared to when it's not so much. And I mean, you have the dogs that that howl at the moon, coyotes and whatnot. And the moon in itself, we never get to see the other side of it. It's always we always see that one side. They tell us that it's rotating in such a way that it's always showing its
Yeah.
face to the particular
Well,
part of the Earth that it's shining on, and
that's
uh,
right.
and
Well,
I
the
think
dark.
that in and of itself is somewhat mysterious. How does it manage to pull that off? You know,
Well,
so
it always seems to me that the dark side of the moon is always the same color as the sky. If that's true, maybe it is flat. I'm just saying, from my
yeah.
perspective, my eyes, I'm looking at it going, I don't know, it could be. I still can't tell. Maybe it's turned
Well, I
the
mean,
other way, whatever.
yeah, I mean, if
I've
you're
come,
looking at a plate or a ball and the ball never spins or the plate never turns around the other way, how do you know for certain that it's one or the other, right?
right, right, and I've come across a couple of different things. One that said that there were some writings in some video I was looking at that I didn't keep. It said that they were talking about how the moon wasn't always before the moon was here, like the moon wasn't always here. I wish I got
That's
more
an
into that.
interesting concept.
I
Yeah.
also came across this thing which struck my interest on this gentleman here. I'm sure a lot of people already flat earthers.
Now, one
They
thing, you
came
have a theory
across it.
about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is plasma phenomena, cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you are proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only a thousandth part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
Aren't you being a bit adventurous, though, because you know that we're going to be able to test out your theories on the moon fairly soon?
Well, not anymore. 11 years ago, of course, it was rather taking a risk. I was considered a lunatic, of course. But by now, the evidence, accumulated evidence, is already so much in my favor that I'm not taking any risks anymore. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature from what was assumed.
And the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen. Not on the moon. On Mars, on Venus, on other planets, yes, but the moon is definitely, as I assert, a plasma.
All right. And who was that there, Tuso, that we were listening to?
That was a scientist from 1965. Am I supposed to get his name?
I was just curious if you could. I've
Because
seen that video before.
I watched the whole thing. It gave his name in the beginning.
See, Mr. Sanders, so calm and
But this is
apparently
cut.
unchanging.
Oh, wait a minute.
And yet it is part of my new conception about the nature of the world that this same sea, many times in the past history of our Earth, has rolled over the surfaces of the land masses,
Guess we're not getting his
away
name.
all life and vegetation, and eventually returning again to its former Earth.
This is the part of the
R. Foster?
flood and the theory of people of other races.
Oh yes, this actual event.
Calling him Mr. Should be Professor, right?
I don't know. Civilizations, Hindus, the Bible.
ABC had
Mr.
Mr. Foster is his name. All right, look. The ABC has been unable to confirm Mr. Foster's identity beyond the entry in the production notebook from 1965. People, Professor Foster. So this is the uncut version we're looking at now. I actually watched this and then just happened to come across the.
All right, yeah. So it was a professor. His name was R. Foster. I don't know what the R stands for. I was able to verify that. And I mean, he's a professor. It's not like he's some slouch, in his living room making a YouTube video. He's 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 a recognized professor, and I'm not saying that makes him right unequivocally, but it's not like he's just some lame coming up with a theory. He's a well-educated individual. So
I found this. Can you see this? Am I looking at this right?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. My browser or something's okay. I found this interesting. I don't know. Okay, maybe not this one. Where it is? There it is. These are quick. See, now this person is taking the light spots and saying that's land and the dark spots are water. Doing the opposite of what the other guy said about the reflection.
Okay.
I thought there was more water. I'm all distraught now because the music is so dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh God. Something like that. Okay, look, I don't mind entertaining that. It's possible. Why not? If the whole Earth, if the whole moon is a reflection of the Earth, I mean,
Or the Earth biosphere on a greater plane.
yeah. There was another one I saw that I don't think I have. All this stuff I do have, and I'm talking about all the stuff I didn't keep. Was one where we was talking about Epcot and all the little pips on Epcot.
Have you ever been to Epcot?
Yeah, other biosystems. Oh yeah, sure I have.
Yeah, I have, but it's been a long time. I'm sure it's came a long way since then. But my one takeaway that I do remember from back in I guess it would have been the early 80s when I went, was that it was very futuristic, and they were taking a lot of, and they were even back then doing a lot of terraforming. It almost was kind of imagine a Noah's Ark, but with plants, because they had
Hold on
every
here.
single type of plant inside there, which I found intriguing.
We have hey Sag, I mean in a row, we got Shawn Indigo joining us.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
What's up, Shawn?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, very well.
Awesome. Hey, glad to be here. Glad to join in. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hang for like 3 hours like y'all usually do, but I am here for a little bit for sure.
Well,
Awesome.
cool.
Well, glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you get a chance to listen to the first video?
So
on this topic.
So basically, I worked today, and then I had my lunch and breaks and whatnot. So I was able to listen to about the first hour. So I got a good idea, at least of the kind of the concept that you guys were talking about. So I got a good idea of what was being described. So yes, but I didn't get to maybe hear more of an in-depth description or evaluation or analysis.
What were your thoughts? What were your feelings?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys, as I always am. So it's a very fascinating, very creative, very unique, very interesting thing to think about. But if I'm going on my intuition and using my body as kind of like a tuning fork to try and discern what's real and not, I'm highly skeptical. But I'm very open-minded, and I understand that pretty much anything is possible. But I'm based on all the things I've learned about in my life, and I find it's just very hard for me to think that it's likely. Is it possible? Sure. That would be ridiculous to say that something is impossible, but I just think it's very unlikely. But if the crater Earth was valid and that comes to be true, it wouldn't just blow my mind and destroy me. I would be able to accept it. But no, if I'm a betting man, no, and I'm not saying that I'm definitely 100% saying no. I'm just very skeptical. And again, it has to do with what I've learned over the years and the information that I've accumulated, and the outer space and the alien visitations and our ancient history and all of the encounters. But yeah, you could say that aliens came from inner Earth, or they're from another dimension. Maybe we are in this kind of lockdown situation. And then one more quick comment just on the general idea of the crater Earth. The way it was being portrayed, it's a little kind of scary and a little bit barbaric, where we have these little, not little, but these isolated, separated places. And it's kind of like this very elaborate board game where it's kind of like survival. But I see abundance, I see harmony, I see world peace, I see love, and I see togetherness and unity. And I don't see scary, mysterious places that are over on the other side of the whatever, and it's something to be worried about. So I'm just feeling very content and calm and happy. And so that's kind of my quick analysis.
Dude, I loved it. I loved everything you said.
Yeah. And I could pretty much say that I more than agree with you, and I'm pretty much in the same boat. I do find the moon to be mysterious. I do think that I find the whole theory to be intriguing, but I by nature am a skeptic, and I'm a hard person to convince. But at the same time, but it's not hard for me to imagine. So my imagination is off the charts, but my skepticism remains in place.
Your imagination is human beings' imaginations are almost like our connection to some higher reality. And your imagination is almost like the language that whatever our souls are, your imagination is almost like your soul's ability to speak words. Like we speak words in a human avatar body, but our soul is like our imagination. That's kind of connected to a normal way that our soul would speak. So anyway, it's just kind of an analogy where imagination is connected to much greater things than physical life and just humans on Earth.
Well said. Well said. All right, Suso. So what you got next for us? Crickets. Crickets, I tell you.
Damn, I was talking the whole time. Shouldn't have been crickets. I forgot I was on mute. So, yeah, I do have something here, and we're gonna go right back to this guy's channel. I have all kinds of stuff here, but this is a quickie. So go ahead and pop this up.
But I received a vital piece of information which I want to share with you as fast as I can. Because today I received a mail from some guy, and he said, "Where did I see that crater before?" And he shared a link. So I started looking at this video, nothing special, a typical NASA bullshit movie. Well, that was what I thought. So I asked this person, "Where do you want me to look at?" But in the meantime, I was looking at this piece of video, and the only thing I could think of was he was trying to show me a crater. And the only footage where you would possibly see a crater was this, what you are looking at now. So I watched it again and again, and I don't know if you see it, but now I see it. So what we are looking at right now is something like this. On the left, you see our moon crater, Sulpicius Gallus M, our biosphere, and on the right, the footage of the shuttle. So I would think that we are looking now at the first moving pictures of our crater. Let's take a freeze.
Now I'm stopping this because you can see where my mouse is. This line here. I'm not going to get into it now. I got shots of the moon I was looking at where these long things were coming right up to craters all over the place. And I'm like, one of them was really big to a really big crater. And I'm just like, could they be the. My whole thing was assuming if this is actually real, which no, I'm with everybody else. Where no, I'm very skeptical. But the North Pole being where you would go into the Earth to go to the other craters. South Pole, you get out into the surface. If that's the case, these other things, I'm just like, this line right here. It just had me thinking.
Frame and make some comparisons. Remember, the light is coming from the other side on the shuttle footage. Series B, Epcot, the hillside, and let's take a look at the crater itself. Take a close-up, and there you see prison planet Earth, the ice wall. Well,
so that's how you
might
get a
have their
Beatles song
doubts,
on there. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure this is real. Another thing you notice, of course, is the atmosphere on the bigger Earth. And yes, guys, sorry, it's a ball. Some flat earthers are not going to like that. And if this is the real speed where they are flying with, well, if these are images of astronauts flying above the bigger Earth, then all the astronauts must be in on the secret. That means they can all be convicted for crimes against humanity. I understand, of course, they are little soldiers being blackmailed, terrorized, so it would be hard for them to leak out the truth. But like I said before, you have a responsibility for humanity. Besides, the game is over now. So I would say, open the gates or face the consequences.
Ignition. Liftoff of the Saucy Line and Crew Dragon. Good NASA. Good contact. Godspeed. Spot and dog. America has launched. So rises the new era of American space flight and with the ambition of
So a bit later I wanted to show this email to my wife, but it was gone. Well, what a strange story. I've been thinking about it all day. I think what we see here is disclosure from someone with inside information. This is not the fake alien disclosure, but the real disclosure. So I would like to thank this person for his courage. And if it were a message from some crackpot, I would congratulate him with his luck. What are the chances? Well, if this is true, we might be seeing the first cracks in the system. So, I would ask you people, if you are bored and you don't know what to do, well, it might be time to take a look at all these shuttle images and look for some craters. Compare them with the lunar surface. And if you want to take a boat and cross the ice wall, please make it back alive. Take some pictures.
Yeah, see, I don't know. The more he does that, the more I bounce away. I'm trying to find the one here that he
Today, I
actually
will answer
finds.
a frequently asked question.
Wait, it's on.
If
Yeah,
the moon is the reflection of the bigger Earth, how is it possible that the orbit of the stars and the
I'm
planets
going to skip this.
go
He's going to
in
go through
opposite
some explanation
direction
that I
is
just don't
reflecting
get.
her whole
Maybe
body?
somebody with a better mind
The
will.
other two mirrors only reflect a part of her body. Let's put Mrs. Legs into a 3-layered reflective ball. She will see herself 3 times, but at 3 different.
This is where we're
I
going.
know where to look. Let's zoom in to the place where I already found 2 planets. The planet Mars, Hadley C, and the planet Saturn, Linnea. So let's take a look at the planets. Between Saturn and Mars, there is Jupiter and the asteroid belt. So it was fairly easy to find Jupiter. It was called joy. What a joy to find Jupiter. Let's look at some NASA painting, the omelette. And on the omelette you see this strange pattern repeated in the crater. So I thought, yeah, this must be it. So now we will look for the asteroid belt. Let's zoom in on Mars, Hadley C. Look what we found there. Some mountains. Sure, asteroid belt. Of course, some mountains reflecting in the light could be mistakenly seen as rocks flying in space. Okay. So we found the asteroid belt. Let's move to the right from Saturn. We get to Uranus. Nice picture of NASA. And we see Uranus and its 6 largest moons. Very obvious. So we got Uranus. Let's move to the right again to Banting, Neptune. Let's take another NASA painting, the spot in the middle. But the main reason I think this is Neptune is because of Triton. When you look at this moon, you see the 2 lines. For people who are interested in the moons of Neptune.
So I want to say this video, along with the last video, I don't see any definitive proof on anything. I think it's just the guy's theories.
Yeah, but they're well thought out and
Biggest one is
intricate
Triton.
thought. It's not like he's just taking a simple approach. At least he's taking the time to put together a well thought out presentation. You know, I'm not saying that he's not really, even though what he's lacking in proof, I'll give him credit for in creativity, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
The in school that would be considered A for effort. But what did you really get on your report card for a grade? You got an A for effort, though. I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I'm just saying.
Huh?
Larissa, you wonder who invented all these names? 2 planets to go. Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus are the only planets that have no moon. The reason
Pretty
you
sure it's
see
a Mandela
no
effect
moons,
for me. The
as
moons.
there are But there was a little surprise at the end, because when you move to the right, what do you see at the edge of the universe? The Kuiper belt objects. And as I know that the asteroid belt is a rock formation, well, I was pretty sure that the Kuiper belt objects would be a rock formation too. So let's check it out. Well, what have we got here? A rock formation formed in a circle. Well, let's take a look at Wikipedia. That is a match, if I'm not mistaken. But there are planets moving in the middle of the Kuiper belt. That's impossible. No? Well, let me show it to you. Let's create 2 layers. Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune on one layer, and the Kuiper belt on the other layer. Let's move 1 layer. Now we move 2 layers at the same time in elliptical form. But there was another surprise, because when you look in the middle of the Kuiper belt, you have 3 moons: Makey, Haumea, and Pluto. But what is this big crater in the center? So, when you look at the explanation on Wiki, this big circle is a sun. So, the reflection in this crater is mistakenly seen as the sun. Oh my god. Well, you want the sun?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. All right. Somebody's echoing. Is that you, Sean? I'm not. I'm not with this guy on a lot of this stuff, and not that it's not true. I just see what we're saying about it's his imagination. He's coming up with a good explanation. He's putting it out there. It's his theories.
That he definitely, he's got a really brilliant mind, and he's definitely put time and effort. Now, I don't know, like one thing I'm thinking is he's a real authentic person trying to find the truth, and he has a certain intellectual capability to pull that off and explain it in a way where it makes sense to others, or
Beautiful.
he's doing this to confuse people, and has some motivation. Maybe he's getting paid. He has some motivation to put something out into the world that has this is just my speculation, and it's just a hypothesis, the possibility that there's a negative reason why this is being portrayed. And my intuition tells me if that's the case, it's to add confusion to the world in general. But the way he's talking, it feels like that yeah, he believes, he's being honest. So I reserve, the idea that he's maybe just messing with us, and he's getting like influenced to do that. But he seems to be upfront, and he's just trying to do his best. And he comes, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's yeah, he does a good job. That's what I still really enjoy the idea of the crater idea. Does it have to be on the moon? Could the moon just be some kind of plasma light ball or light projection? Is it a ball? Is it just made to look like it's a ball? Um, is it a reflection? I mean, that's that to me with the whole star thing. Um, love the idea about um, the stars with the water. That's why they shimmer the way they do. I always found that to be interesting.
So that's cool. Like the stars shimmer, right? So like the science tells us it has to do with the atmosphere, and that a planet will be a solid light, the stars will be a shimmering light, and the stars are producing this is like the regular scientific like theory or whatnot, that the stars are producing their own light, and when it hits our atmosphere, like it's distorted a little bit, we see the shimmer, and the planets are getting the sun's light reflected, and they look solid. And even like I've been into astronomy since probably 1983. And that's one of the things I learned early on, is that's how you can tell what's a star and what's a planet. And but then again, I also like did I also learned about the potential for the firmament and the water above. And so yeah, so I'm actually curious on, because I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, so I'm curious on the shimmering effect and water causing that. So if water is causing the shimmering effect, why do the planets have a solid light and the stars have a flickering light?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm going to pop one up here for you right now. I think it's going to come up. Just will have to back it up. I believe that's Jupiter. I could be wrong. It could be Venus. More accurate, Venus. Let's see. But it's definitely a planet. I'm going with Venus.
My opinion, though, that particular image, if you would have asked me what it was and not give me any insight, I would say that looks like a ball of plasma.
To keep this thing steady.
Looks like a ball of plasma, right? Yeah.
Check it out.
So how would we define plasma? My impression is it's not solid, liquid, or gas. It's another state of an element.
I see two.
Yeah, somewhere between a liquid and a gas.
Yeah, I would go with that.
That's fair. Oh, wait.
No. Oh, come on, really? Nothing. It won't come up. I wonder if I can get it here. Are we on? Yeah, we're not doing anything, are we?
I dropped a link in Hangouts, so when you get around to it, I want you to bring it up on the screen when you can. You don't have to do it like right this second, but it's a map of the world from that was found in a Buddhist temple back in 1907. It was featured in the Hawaiian Gazette, and somebody brought it to a reporter and said that his dad or somebody, I don't know, it's all mentioned in the article there. I don't have it memorized verbatim, but when I came across that when I first discovered flat Earth, it was in a flat Earth video. And what I found so intriguing about this particular map is it actually shows what may or may not lie beyond the ice wall. And it would be interesting to compare those that image to the images that he's showing us that may be beyond, um,
I
you
don't.
know,
Where'd you send me this link at?
Shifty Sunday.
Oh, that's what all the beeping is going on over here. I'm like, my
Yeah.
computer's blowing up.
And I'll
No,
help
it's
you.
just so your computer dislikes you.
It's I sent it to you right above the word now is where you'll see it.
Yeah, I got it. There we are.
It's not a rabbit in your computer's pocket. Your computer likes you.
Oh, I am down some rabbit holes, huh?
Hmm.
All right. So now that I don't know where that's at, let's. All right, I found. All right, let's let it go. I don't know what this is anyway. Oh God, that's annoying. All right. Yeah, this wasn't planned, so I don't know what I got here.
Is that right? Yeah, and if you try, I think sometimes if you try too hard at something, sometimes it doesn't work. I've tried that before, where I'm just like all obsessive over.
No, ain't that the truth? All right, Hebrew. I mean, Hebrew's buddy. Hey, was he supposed to come on the show? Was he coming in or share screen? I guess I'm going to share screen.
Yeah, Hebrew's coming in.
Oh, okay. There it is. You got it? Is it up?
Yep, we can see it. And then it should give you the ability to zoom in on it.
Somewhat. Yeah. Sure. First time I saw that map, I loved it. I was like, oh, okay. There's the ice wall, and there's all the land that they're hiding. I mean, to me, that made the most sense.
Yeah. And I found one once. I don't know how to find it again, where they actually had labeled those continents, and one of them, and they all had like ancient, like Greek type names, like and or similar names to lost civilizations, like you would, like if you remember from Greek mythology, they had those kind of names on them, and I thought, well, how does a map in a Buddhist temple have Greek mythological names for continents? This particular map doesn't have the names on it, but it does have the interview with the guy who found it. So there's that. But I did find this intriguing, and it's always stuck with me, and almost like a Narnia type of way. Like maybe this is what's on the other side of the wardrobe. But I don't know. I'm not trying to convince anybody that it is. I'm just saying that I've always been fascinated by it ever since the first time I saw it. It stuck in my mind as a remote possibility of what may be on the other side.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody trying to convince anybody of anything. I find all this stuff just interesting. Take my mind off other things. Keep my mind going because I was getting bored again.
Yeah, and I don't see no reason for somebody to totally make that up. I mean, and draw them with such precision, and or if it was just somebody, back in the day, imagining what it might be. I mean, again, that's always a possibility, or just speculating on what it might be. But nonetheless, I thought it was worth sharing.
Oh, for sure.
And I'd like to see how those images lined up side by side with the craters that he's trying to show, if there's any correlation. That would be an interesting project.
Lieutenant General retired from the Air Force Stephen Lloyd Quast,
Is that on?
spelled Kwast.
Is this thing on?
Quest, Hillsley College gave a conference not long ago, and he pretty much said that we live in a crater on a bigger, gigantic Earth, and when you look, like imagine like if you're like in Florida, Miami, and you look in the horizon, deep space is water. So pretty much he said that we go outside of this crater because he said like the crater, if you look at it from the Earth, if you look at it from the top, it looks like the circle of the Earth, and then you have the water colliding with the shores, and that's where we live in a crater with the ice wall, and then you exit this crater to the pillars of Hercules, where the Antarctica is, between South America and Antarctica. And then he also said about that continent, which is Antarctica, not like it looks, not how you find it on the maps, on the official maps you find in school, but the continent, which also Richard Byrd told about. But he said, Frost said, this military man said that it's 3 times the size of Africa. Obviously, not the way Africa is shown on the Mercator map, because that's an insult to human intelligence. You have to look at the Peterson map, which shows the true size of continents, and Africa is 50 times the size of Greenland. Greenland is up north. Well, up north, it's part of Denmark. It belongs to Denmark, and it's actually a peninsula on their continent. And the other continent, Antarctica, is 3 times the size of Africa as well. And he pretty much said that you exit and then you can't go upwards because that's where the dome is, but you can exit and you can get to different craters, and everything is on the moon map. So the moon map displays because the moon is a reflection of the Earth, so the moon map is displayed, and that's why the Apollo astronauts have actually landed, but not on the moon. They landed on the same gigantic Earth, but on the other side of this crater. This crater is Sulpicis Gallus M. So yeah, if that's the case, maybe it's a different crater, but Sulpicis Gallus M looks pretty much an interesting crater, and also because of the missions to the moon and everything. So yeah, obviously for many of you this is going to be like a stupid video, and you're just going to close the player and everything. But yeah, this general actually told the truth, because the way they do it, they actually tell truths with lies, and they combine everything, so people don't know what to listen to anymore, but they know the truth. And also he said that teleportation, just like we saw in Goku in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku comes back from space after defeating Frieza after a year, and he teleports himself, so from the Yadra people. So this general said that exactly like in Star Trek, we can teleport people in 1 hour anywhere on Earth. So yeah, teleportation or teletransport is possible. Probably they're using Stargates, just like in the Stargate movie, because the movies are actually real. People tend to see movies as science fiction, but in the movies they actually give us the reality, the truth, just like they gave us in Divergent, Insert Intelligent, in that trilogy, because everything has to do with legends, and sci-fi is actually the truth, but it's disguised as a legend. So there you go. Lieutenant General from the Air Force in the United States, Kvast, he pretty much spoke the truth in front of all people. And just like President from the European Union, Juncker, in 2016, he said that he went to meetings with leaders of other planets, so the leaders of other craters outside of this crater, and that they're actually asking questions of what's going on, and because they're the superior guys, they're the people with technology. So pretty much check out movies like your typical science fiction movies, and you're pretty much going to understand why, and then you're going to understand why NASA said that the universe is an ocean. So it's like the universe is an ocean of waters, and the moon is inside the atmosphere of the Earth and everything. So stuff that they give us little by little, because I guess if they will give us all the truth, then in my case I would be okay, and probably you would be okay as well. But the big majority of the sheeple would not be okay, so they would go crazy and depressed. So that's what people do. Yeah, what's
Lord, I'm slipping.
I wonder if I can get copyrighted for that, huh?
Yeah, you might want to mute that.
Oh, yeah.
I think as long as it's a short segment, they probably won't be able to copyright. It has to be under a certain amount of time. I think it was short enough.
I'll take it out. If they're upset, I'll pay them $10. I don't know, whatever they want. Or $10 for each person that came in to watch this. I'll pay them $10. I found that a little interesting as well. So,
We don't have anyone backstage trying to get in, do we? Is Zebra back there yet?
I do not. No, I do not see anyone.
All right. And
The
Armor, are you here?
the more and more.
I think he said he has to
Armor?
step away for a minute on the private chat.
Good. That was when we started.
Oh, never mind. I guess I'm about 55 minutes behind.
Um, so I don't know.
I saw Armor unmuted, but I think maybe he's having troubles with his mic or something.
No, I muted him. I figured if he wasn't there, I just muted. I don't know. Maybe the dog will bark or something. I don't know. So now I see nothing amazing here. There was this. See, I should have just did that right from the first place. I guess we'll have to share screen. This is the same thing I see everybody else looking at. What you see this here, and then you see this here. It's the same thing. Okay. So,
Yeah, that's what they call a composite image. It's where they take a stamp and just keep recreating the same crater over and over again to create a composite image. Yeah.
Well, no, it's that way all the way around. So what I'm saying is that they're saying that this whole thing is the moon, and this I don't get. I'm like, wow, this is so defined and beautiful. Why can't it be like that all the way through?
Right.
But now we get into this. Now I was looking at these and I was complaining that they were patches, and I can't be sure that they're actually patches because I'm looking at this line. This continues on.
Those changes, Suso. I'm pretty sure that it's just the format where different resolutions are presented. So it's like, yeah. So I mean, yeah, they blur shit. They blur shit sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm thinking the same thing because this runs in this. Everything seems to have something attached to it that it kind of works. Even this little space here, but that's not to say the whole thing isn't plasma, and that they're not making this look better. Because could you imagine
exactly what they're doing? And I think that my intuition tells me that it's a copy and paste type of thing, or it's some type of overlay in order to because either A, data is missing, or B, they don't want us to actually see that in the detail, in its natural detail, or even D, all of the above.
Yeah. Now the thing is, on this map, I still haven't been able to find Suppulus Gallus M. I can't really locate, but I've located some other really, really interesting things. Sure, if I'll be able to. So funny. Any other time? Oh yeah, like look at this. Now, see what I mean about this circle here? It kind of all matches, so it's just different parts of the day or whatever. But what is this? Now it looks like it was something drawn on here. Quite honestly.
Yeah, that's artificially created, like this, drawings or something. It's not the moon surface.
Are they pointing out different? I don't get it. But anyway, I really wish I would like this. What is this? Why is this here? Is there something actually there? Yeah, this is Google Moon, and I always lose it at that.
I mean. Somebody once told me that anything you see on a screen, not with your eyes, but on a screen, you can never fully trust that that's what's real. Like anytime you see a screen, I don't know. You guys know that it's not that's not rocket science.
Because this looks like outer space to me. Like, oh, that's cool. A couple of planets. But I saw a couple of things. Like I'm going to point this out here, although it's not near a crater. It just looks like some kind of road.
50
or-
this is not like not this is just like my just being silly, but I'm half serious as well. 50,000 years ago, a big giant UFO crashed into the moon and made a skid mark and scarred the surface. That's the line.
No. Yeah, but look, they're all over the place, and I just want to find the couple of specific ones that I saw, and I was like, "Wow, that's really interesting."
Hey, so I need like 4 minutes. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, man. Take your time. I don't know. I mean, this is, I spent half a day. Nah, not true. I spent maybe an hour doing this, and I just go like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't even know if this is real.
Good job, Suso. Good job for not exaggerating. I'm like that too. You're gonna say half a day? Nope, about an hour. I'm like that in my job. I want to make sure I keep it real, not exaggerate.
Yeah, right. If I'm not going to exaggerate, I have a truth channel on YouTube.
No, it's all good.
So and I just really got a kick out of this stuff. I'll show you like this. I mean, I'm like, how did that change? And what is it? That's the bottom. And other people I got other things up here to say people are finding pyramids on the moon. I mean, that almost looks like a structure. I wouldn't say a pyramid. If I go in one more, it's going to shut me out. No, it didn't. Wow. It's pretty interesting.
I think there's very old things on the moon from ancient days, other what we would call alien races. And I think that the whole sketchiness and the NASA bullshit and the NASA cover-ups has to do with the fact that there's cool shit out there that we're not supposed to be able to see. So they dumb it down and cover it up and change the video footage. So that's just my guess on what's going on, is that there's a whole bunch of amazing, profound things on the moon's surface, all these things from ancient past civilizations, and they are not about to let the average person know about that. So they cover it up and they make this stupid 1960s fake moon landing bullshit because there's cool shit they don't want us to see, not because the moon's not there or it's in a hologram or a prop or something, but that's just my guess. I don't know.
It's as good a theory as any. I mean, that's probably the most sane thing, that they're just doing it to keep information away from everybody, and this is all fake as well. But I mean, if this is a crater, and I'll take this one as an example. I found enough that I could have, but if this is a crater, say about the size of Earth, which Earth would be down here in the oceans and all, and this is your ice wall, and out here is the North Pole. If that's true, it's a good 150, 200,000 miles just to this crater, according to math. And I guess this one, see, to me, looks like the life they're living. It's like life to me.
Mm-hmm.
They're living here. I think some of these craters, if there is life, if it's all different craters out there, and there's life in different craters, biosystems, and different realities, this looks like life. Doesn't look like reflections. This looks like life to me. I don't know. I had some better ones that were just amazing, and I was like, wow. Now this doesn't look like a crater. This looks like a mountain, the way I'm looking at it, but I don't know. Or something that's been raised up.
Yeah, to me, it looked a lot like footage of when, I don't know if you've seen websites or YouTube channels where people do what we're doing right now, but they do it with Antarctica.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a couple channels that I follow that they've kind of gotten away from it since I first started following them. But when I first started following them, they would do just like you're doing right now, but zooming over Google Earth Antarctica, and there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, but how much faith am I even putting in Google Moon here? Am I getting pictures of the moon?
You're
Yeah,
getting the images they want you to get.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So yeah, we never know. Like when it comes to that, if we never know, you have to trust your intuition. You have to find your inner guidance to be able to navigate some of these really hard to figure out things. We have to trust our inner guidance, and we also have to acknowledge that we don't always. Our inner guidance won't always be accurate, because there's going to be distortions and mistakes made. But
Look at that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
go.
agree with you, Sean. I do. This is a highway into the city. I mean, and this is
So,
the rural area.
yeah, that's cool. Like maybe maybe that's like a very old city that was around on what we would call our moon as a giant, basically freaking circular sphere block.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. See, the more I don't know, the more and more I look at it, the crater thing intrigues me. The other stuff, some of his history stuff, some of the other stuff he comes up with. I don't like those planets that he came up with. I have no idea how he came up with that stuff. Didn't make any sense to me.
I mean, if you were to take a detailed, high-tech photograph of like somebody's like really, really, really big backyard, not all grass, not some like millionaire with a grass, beautiful backyard, but just like an acre of like land that's kind of like a yard, and it's got all kinds of different like vegetation growing. You can find a match to almost anything, and human minds look for faces, we look for patterns, and if you spend enough time, you will find the solar system in your backyard based on the way the ground looks. If you spend enough time and have enough data available, you can pretty much make any connection. Doesn't mean that that guy's wrong, but you can do it, and it's just regular stuff. It's not these crazy profound.
I hear you. Yeah.
I think Hebrews in backstage now wanting to come
Is
in.
he now? Let's see.
And I think Armor's here now too, but I'm not sure.
Welcome, Hebrew. So he's here, but he's not here. Ah, there he is.
Yeah, I've been here for a while. I've just been muted up.
Yeah.
I know, nothing to talk about. Everybody's jumping off board, man. Everybody. I mean, I was never really on the ship anyway. I still do like the crater idea. The crater idea because of the whole the ice wall. What's on the other side of the ice wall? More land. They're hiding land. Could it be craters? How cool would that be? Is the moon still flat? Is it a ball? This guy's saying, well, it's a ball. But you know why? He don't know that. It looks like a ball when you're looking at it because that's what they told us a ball looks like. You know, we don't know what it looks like. We don't really know the shape. Is it plasma? What else is? But there are some things I like what this guy says. And it really pushed me in other directions too. It did give me other things to look at.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of strange coincidence. I'm looking at chat. I'm getting echo here, but crunch hashtag bang says the moon lights up the sides of the clouds. It's close, and it just happens to be the same apparent size as the sun. And we only ever see one side. Come on. And, you know, that is a strange coincidence. I like whenever there's a lunar or solar eclipse, it happens to just line up perfectly and be the exact same size. I mean, what are the odds of that? When solar and lunar eclipses happen on other planets, does the moon happen to be the exact same size as the sun there, or is it or does the sun overshadow and just create a donut effect, so to speak? I don't know. It all just seems kind of to be everything just seems to be strangely too well, perfectly synchronously designed in shape, size, dimension, speed, and rotation, and synchronicity. For it to just be a strange coincidence, to me, there's a logical design behind it all. And then, with that being said, then what is the design and why is it so perfectly constructed in such a way, if not to be some type of biosphere or terraform? And I mean, obviously, you don't want to take religion out of the conversation because that's the way God made it, right? But even with that being said, that doesn't make it one or the other, a ball or flat. It makes it open for discussion, in my opinion.
That's awesome. Is it Sagittarius, Sag?
Yeah.
That's I'm just like
All
throwing a
the
little
above.
quick thing. Like that's like oh, it's cool. Like I appreciate your perspective, your open mindedness. That's cool. I just think it's cool. Open mindedness, awesome.
Well, that's the one thing the flat earthers, I think, definitely got right. I don't know who discovered it or talked about it or whatever, but they do believe that the sun and the moon are the same size, and they're about 3,000 miles away. And I'm like, I can buy into all that more than I can buy into a lot of the stuff that this guy gets into. But I'm going to go ahead and pop this one in. If you guys got time for it.
Okay, people, here we go again. Let's zoom in on my favorite crater, Sulpicius Gallus M. Now let's take the magical map of Ars and turn it eastwards. That is because all Mappae Mundi are directed at the east. Now let's put those two maps next to each other, and what you immediately see is this strange form in the center of the map. Now let's rebuild the Ars map on the crater map. Let's take my favorite map, the 1250 Hereford map, found under a wooden floor, hidden by monks. Why would that be? Let's compare that with another map of the Wizard of Oz, and there you see the snake-forked form, the Red Sea. So let's take a look at Google Maps and one of the most magical 5 kilometers I've ever seen. Take a look. Let's have another look at the Hereford map. In the center, you see Jerusalem. So let's Oz map, and there you see Emerald City. So Emerald City stands for Jerusalem. Where did we see that before? Exactly, in the center of the Disney World. So now it's getting interesting. Jerusalem is Emerald City.
How do I start for Emerald City? It's always best to start at the beginning, and all you do is follow the yellow brick road. Just follow the yellow brick road.
So this whole story of the Wizard of Oz is about how to get to Emerald City.
Follow the yellow brick road. 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 Follow
Stop! Take a look at this form here, or from another angle, and compare it with this. So the only way would be is to go to Cape Horn and cross the waters to the Antarctica. You have a difficult road with high waves and strong winds, the Drake
Can you
Passage,
pause that for a second?
or you have the easy way. Let's follow this road. On the left, you see the Falkland Islands. Follow the road and it makes a curvature, and the islands are like bricks in the road, and the last island is called Fuller. Keep following the road. One of the islands is called Deception Island. And at the end of the road, you have some bases for science, of course, not military. No, no. So is this the yellow brick road? I think it is. Start with a curvature and go to Antarctica. That's the way to escape flat Earth.
The once great city of New York becomes the one maximum security prison for the entire country. A 50-foot containment wall is erected along the New Jersey shoreline, across the Harlem River, and down along the Brooklyn shoreline. It completely surrounds Manhattan Island. All bridges and waterways are mined. The United States Police Force, like an army, is encamped around the island. There are no guards inside the prison, only prisoners and the world they have made. The rules are simple. Once you go in, you don't come out.
Station 19. They spotted two cars on the 69th Street Bridge. 69th Street Bridge. 69th Street Bridge. Taxi cab and a Cadillac. Taxi hit a mine.
So we are all enclosed in a prison camp. Oh, how nice. And Snake is escaping through the 69th Street Bridge. Well, making videos is very boring. But sometimes it's like striking gold. You think, I got it.
He is very dark, isn't he? He does get dark. I mean, it was very scary. That could have been one of the things that pulled me in. I love the crater thing, pulled me in. But he does get dark. You don't even realize it.
Right. And I like how he uses the Wizard of Oz as one of his first examples. I find it interesting. Of just coming from a Mandela affected perspective. It's one of the most Mandela affected movies ever. I don't know.
And the movie itself carries so many different levels of some symbolism and I don't know, just ways to kind of like allegorize society and things of that nature. So it's like there's a lot of hidden meanings in that movie anyway. So to imagine that they took the time to throw this hidden meaning in there too, I mean that's saying a lot.
Well, the moment I heard 69th Street Bridge, I knew I was onto something. Let's take the Antarctica map. 69th Street Bridge. Let's take 69 degrees. You follow the yellow brick road and it brings you to the 69th degree.
Can you pause it right there for a second?
I can. Wherever you want it.
Oh, that's
For how
not the
long?
best.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not the best, but it'll do. All right, so that this little thing here has always intrigued me, not just because it's the closest landmass to Antarctica, like the shortest like sea trip you can take. Right there is a good spot. But I mean, you can't help but wonder when you see that way that land is like being pulled to the left there at the top, the white where it's Antarctica because it's inverted and upside down, and then the Cape down there at the bottom, and then it almost looks like it was once connected, and somebody like literally just imagine if somebody took their finger and smudged it to the left there and then let go. That's what it really looks like. It looks like it was once connected and it just got smudged and pushed over to the left. Like, and
Yeah.
so then I say, well, obviously nobody could literally take their finger and do that. So then I have to think, well, maybe there was like a water on one side and not on the other, and it was like a dam or a bridge or some type of barrier that collapsed. And when all of that water came rushing in from the other side, it created that effect. I mean, there's no way that's not some type of push or smudge or I don't know the word I'm looking for, but do you guys see what I'm trying to say?
Up here in this
No,
area.
right there in the very middle, like where the two like go
Here?
down to the
Oh, like
right
this is a
there.
thumb.
Yeah, imagine that's like
It
a
is a
thumb
thumb.
pushing it to the left.
And that's
So
a
you're like,
hand. I put your
Most
hand
of the
right over
bottom
that.
one's going to the left too. They're both going to the left.
yeah,
Like,
it's like
you're
they were
saying,
one.
if something broke out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
You'll find
But
me a map of the earth now. It does. Looks like a thumb, a hell hand.
yeah, but I don't know. I just wanted to point that out. I can't every
I'm
time I see.
wondering if this wasn't actually land. You bring the water down, this will be land.
Yeah, they were once connected, obviously, and some type of force pushed to the left there. Now, what kind of force could do that? I can't
Okay.
even try to explain it, but
Now
it's
I get what
definitely
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent observation.
Got no
It's almost
sound.
as if that was like they were sending a message. Nobody shall ever go from here to here ever again.
Yeah, what they did.
What happens when they cross the bridge? You climb some ice and then you climb on the wall. Station 19? What a strange name. That was as far as I got. So I thought, well, why don't I look at the sequel, Escape from LA? So when I saw the intro, I was almost falling off my chair. What the hell? Remember my theory. I told you that in 1250 there was a big tsunami hitting crater Earth, forming the continents like we know them. Remember that, 1250.
Do you see that? I don't know if we've ever actually explained that, but that's how far we are into the videos. This is all Antarctica to him, and this is the way out from here, and then this like this. And he's saying that happened in 1250. Yeah, let's get into the mud flood stuff and talk about what was going on in 1250. Was all this Tartaria as well as all this? That's just another story.
In the late 20th century, hostile forces inside the United States grow strong. The city of Los Angeles is ravaged by crime and immorality. To protect and defend its citizens, the United States police force is formed. A presidential candidate predicts a millennium earthquake will destroy LA in divine retribution.
Like the mighty fist of God, Armageddon will descend upon the city of Los Angeles, the city of sin, the city of Gomorrah, the city of Sodom, and waters will arise and separate the sinful, sinful city from our country.
Greater Earth.
And I love this whole idea because they're blocking this with military from every country. I don't know if they're blocking it here, probably here. Yeah, because that would be Antarctica. What's all this underground? All right.
Yeah, right there where you're saying that, drawing that line, that almost looks like the same point as the Cape. What was the name of that Cape?
Yeah,
again?
it looks like that picture they were taking. These two should be connected, but it really looks like it's here now.
Yeah.
The way that picture was interesting. See, now that's the thing. This is another reason why you could debunk this, because as big as this is to be South Africa, is that what it is? Is that where it, or is it South America? I think it's South Africa. That's a lot further than that picture showed.
Yeah. But then again, that is an awful long time ago. A lot could change in that amount of time.
Oh, come on. They knew what they were doing in 1250, right? Where were this guy was yelling. That guy was yelling
like
something. Where were we?
Remember that.
Or unfit to live in the new moral
right here.
0.6 on the Richter scale hits at 12:59 p.m. August 23rd in the year 2000. After the devastation, the Constitution is amended and the newly elected president accepts a lifetime term of office. The country's capital is relocated from Washington, D.C. to the president's hometown of Lynchburg, Virginia. Los Angeles Island is declared no longer part of the United States and becomes the deportation point for all people found undesirable or unfit to live in the new moral America. The United States police force, like an army, is encamped along the shoreline, making any escape from LA impossible. From the southeastern hills of Orange County to the northwestern shore of Malibu, the Great Wall excludes LA from the mainland. The president's first act as permanent commander-in-chief is Directive 17. Once an American loses his or her citizenship, they are deported to this island of the damned, and they never come back.
Let's take a look again at the dates.
Hits at 12:59 p.m., August 23rd, in the year 2000.
12:59 p.m. Let's make that 12:59 AD. So the 23rd of August, 12:59 AD, a big tsunami hit Greater Earth. Well, I'm getting closer. But where are the control masters? Well, let me show you a map I already showed you in another video. 3 guys are working on a map. 3 guys of the Walt Disney Studio. Look at the map. It is our crater map. Let's put Sulpicius Gallus M on it. Now take a look at these 2 lines. If the Wizard of Oz map is the same, then we can zoom in and there we find the same 2 lines. A tunnel and the route of the magic carpet, which I think is a high-speed monorail train. But this photo is telling us another story. Look at this structure. Underground domain of the Gnome King. Well, there appears to be an underground base. Let's listen to our great European leader, Mr. Juncker.
Il faut savoir que ceux qui nous observent de loin sont inquiets. J'ai vu et entendu et écouté plusieurs des dirigeants d'autres planètes qui sont très inquiets parce qu'ils s'interrogent sur la voie que l'Union européenne va poursuivre. Et donc, il faut rassurer et les Européens et ceux qui nous observent de plus loin.
So, what about the name Snake Plissken? Snake, that's an easy one. Plissken, in my view, is about the ISS, a reference to Isis. So that is the Osiris cult. Let's have a look at Snake Plissken. He is limping and he has an eye patch. I think that
By the
is
way,
a
when I
reference
was
to
12 years
Odin.
old, he was my hero.
Odin sacrifices himself to gain wisdom. For that, he gives an eye to the giant Mimir. For the same purpose, he wounds himself with his spear, Gungnir, and he hangs himself on the tree of life, Yggdrasil, where he learns the art of runes. So Snake is limping because of this spear wound. Here you see a picture of a Freemason ritual, and the rope stands for hanging in the tree of life, Yggdrasil. One leg refers to the limping, and the blindfold is a reference to the one-eyed Odin. Here another reference to the one-eyed Odin, Valkyrie, Valhalla, Odin.
So is Odin a Greek god?
Norse. He's Norse.
All right. So
I believe he's
all right.
Norse. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's Thor's. He's in
and we
with
got
Thor in that.
and we got the whole one eye thing with I guess the Illuminati or whatever they are, and you see that symbolism a lot. Oh, more dark stuff, man. I'm sorry. I want to go back to Shawn's intro.
Let me show you some pictures of House Atlantis in Bremen, built in 1931 by some German Nazi occultists. On the frontage of the building was hanging a giant sculpture of Odin on the Tree of Life. Pierced by a spear,
Wow, look at all that
he was
symbolism.
studying the runes. Let's have a look at the mission of Snake.
He puts a lot of good stuff together.
Go inside the
As
prison,
you said earlier.
save the president, but at the end, Snake is betrayed. Let's take the Jesus Christ mission.
Let's not do
Go
that.
to Earth,
Let's not go there.
save humanity,
Let's
but at the end, Jesus is betrayed. That is the Jesus cult.
Oh no.
So we have the three cults, the Osiris cult, Odin cult, and the Jesus cult.
So here's where I'm going to disagree with him majorly. Mostly because a lot of this is blasphemous.
Well, there's definitely Jesus cults out there, so I don't find it blasphemous.
Anything else?
Well, I meant the comparison, saying Kurt Russell's character is like Jesus, though.
Oh no, he's saying Kurt Russell's character represents Odin, and he's saying that Odin represents Jesus, which I don't agree with. But
all have the same origin in my view. So you have Jesus on the cross, Odin on the tree of life. Remember in a previous video I told you that the Vikings imported Christianity? Another thing I noticed when I looked at the picture of Odin on the Tree of Life, he has a very strange head. It's like he has ears. That reminded me that there are some strange images of Moses with ears.
Oh, there's
So
the
I was
Moses.
thinking, are we talking the same story?
The Moses Mandela.
Yeah.
Here, Odin spying on the runes like an ordinary thief, or Moses receiving the runes from God because he is the chosen one. That's a totally different story, of course, from bad guy to good guy.
There's another Mandela. Did you see that? I always get taken down for that one. That one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one looks like the Bluetooth symbol.
Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. That opens a lot of new questions. Are we on a prison continent? Who is watching us? Why are they leaving links for us to find the truth? Very strange. So let's see what is happening and see you on my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
It's a lot of fun. It keeps me interested. I still love the crater stuff.
A lot of stuff to take in there, though, too. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff to digest. Like your brain is thinking one way, and then you get thinking the other way, and there's just so much. A lot of it could be overwhelming when you see all the symbolism and you try to put it all together, and it's interesting. I'll say that.
You guys want to? Anybody have anything they want to, like, any kind of out of the box stuff you want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up?
Good evening, everybody.
Okay,
It's a
not
real
that
pleasure
guy.
to
I
be
didn't mean
back
him.
here,
I don't know
in
where.
Seattle. I grew up just north of the border of Vancouver, British Columbia. So it feels like coming home, come back to the Pacific Northwest.
I know, and it's great.
And I've actually spoken in this room, and it's a wonderful place to give a presentation. So I thank you all for taking time out of your busy lives.
Thank you all
to come
for
down
taking
and
time.
hear me talk a little bit about dinosaurs. Over
This
the
guy
next
wants to
few
talk
minutes,
about
I'm going to try and
dinosaurs. Let's
talk
not
to you
go
about three
there.
things. One is a project that I've been
No, this is the last one I got for this guy. Let's go ahead and pop this up. More evidence of crater Earth.
Who are not familiar with my work, let's recapitulate.
Recapitulate. That's not how I would pronounce it. We talked about.
You're not sharing, by the way.
I'm not. How dare I? Appreciate that. StreamYard. Share screen.
Wouldn't it be great if it worked like Star Trek? Like you just be like StreamYard, share screen, like you said, and then it just does it automatically.
Well, you could set that up if you have the right Windows. They have voice recognition. So
really,
Computer, show StreamYard.
This sucks. Okay, we're gonna go here. Anybody got any other conspiracies maybe about the moon? We'll do that. We'll say about the moon.
I believe the moon is a artificial, physical created device from a very, very old and very advanced technology civilization that created that. Basically, it's like a freaking it's like the Death Star without the ability to blow up worlds. So it's something that got built. It's mostly hollow. Basically, it's like a freaking it's. So that's my guess. That's just my guess on what the hell the moon is.
when you say that, it kind of reminds me of the Truman Show, where they have the moon set up sort of like a studio, and it's got like all these cameras, through it.
Sean, that's got to be your cat. Hold on.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's what
I
that's
gotta
what
mute
always
it.
think too.
It's my cat.
I always think of it as an observation deck where the aliens can basically sit comfortably and watch, series Earth. What? We'll just observe the Earthlings in their natural habitat without disturbing them.
I'm pretty sure we're a young civilization in this galaxy, and yes, they're watching us, and they're respectful, but they're kind of patiently waiting for us to figure our shit out, so then they can say, "Hey, we're here, first contact." But they have to wait till humans figure their shit out and aren't gonna like fucking pull out a gun and shoot an alien because they don't understand the alien.
Oh wow! So you think like they have a prime directive?
Very similar. I think a lot of the Star Trek rules are actually applicable to our future. I think it's connected.
Interesting. Yeah, that's. I'll tell you what. When you mentioned when Saji mentioned the observation from the moon, it kind of reminded me of that episode. Who watches the Watchers?
Exactly right. Now I'm gonna push it a little bit further. Who watches the Watchers? But then you have to think about who watches those watching Watchers. Oh shit.
Oh man, that's deep.
Yeah. So that's the level of intelligence that is out there. We are protected. It's not a chaos clusterfuck. There is an organized setup. We are good. We are all set. We are where we need to be.
Now, you guys know how Chernobyl has been in the news here recently with the whole Ukraine thing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, there was on January, I think it was the 22nd, there was a UFO footage filmed at Chernobyl. I was saving it for Shifty Sunday, but I thought we might just take a sneak peek look at it today. I just dropped the footage in Shifty Sunday, Suso. The reason I think maybe we should bring it up is right there at the beginning of your video, when we were looking at that Google Moon, we saw some of those bar marker things that you weren't sure exactly what they were, those lines.
Right.
Well, the shape of the UFO is remarkably similar to the shape of those images. So I thought, well, what the heck? Let's go ahead and take a look at it and discuss it, and let's see what you guys think. I think it's some of the best UFO footage I've seen in a while.
You're not sharing again, by the way.
Son of a bitch.
I like how Armor's the only one that noticed.
It's the thought that counts.
Wow.
It's always the thought that counts.
I keep going. I'm on the screen, and it says share this page instead, and I do it, and you guys are telling me I'm not on. So, all right, here we go. Pretty, it's the music. It's drama. It's the. Here we go.
Can you pause it right there?
If I can find it. Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, that way you can kind of get a really good idea of the shape. I mean, it almost looks like the thing you use to hook up a propane tank, right? But, and I assume that that's just what it sounds like when you're in Chernobyl. It always has that ominous music playing in the background, right?
So are we saying that's like a recent footage over Chernobyl in Russia? That footage?
Yeah,
right there?
January 22nd, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that looks like a man-made object, has very little to do with what we would call extraterrestrials or possibly extra dimensionals. That is a physical metal object that human beings built, possibly based on the research available on crashed UFOs over time. Yeah, so that's
Don't doubt that, but I would say
Yeah.
what's more interesting is how it moves. I mean, I'd say, yeah, we could probably do something like that. We do it with helicopters.
Well, yeah,
And then that shit takes off.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked like a very much Earth built object with physical like metal.
Looks
would say
almost like a probe more so than it does a spacecraft.
I would say it definitely looks like it could be man-made, but we have nothing. I mean, even Harriers that can hover have big exhaust ports to hover. There's nothing we could build that can make it hover like that.
I disagree. I think that the technology available on this world to human beings is far many years advanced from what we're allowed to see.
Oh yeah, we can speculate. There's no doubt about that. We can speculate.
Yeah, we can speculate. So some people who claim to have knowledge about inside the the FBI, CIA, intelligence agencies, and they say that we're several hundred years and more advanced than what the public is allowed to see, and that may or may not be an exaggeration. But it is, in my opinion, it is easy to say that we're at least 50 to 100 years ahead of what we're allowed to see. So that metal object that I just saw, it was moving, 400 or 500 miles an hour. But I've seen lights like, lights in the sky, UFO type things, and they move so fast, it would be like several thousand miles an hour. It basically flicks, it like flips out, boom, it's like gone. It's like flip. There was a couple, maybe 10 years ago in Israel, there was a really awesome UFO video and several different people captured it. And yeah, I don't have the current sophistication to show that right now, but it was in Israel, and you see this flashing UFO and it just flies so fast, 20 times faster than that.
You gotta notice right in the end there, that did zip off very fast. It was like gone.
Yeah, it did. It was unnatural. When I use UFO, I mean, I say unidentified flying object, or what is it now? UAP phenomenon, unidentified aerial phenomenon. I mean, either one, it applies because I can't identify it. It's definitely an aerial phenomenon. Would you guys at least agree in that regard?
Yes.
Okay. And then with all that being said, I know that there's been reports in the past of unidentified aerial phenomenon and or UFOs being over nuclear missile silos when they were wanting to do tests on them and or possibly launch them, and totally deactivating and neutralizing the missile silo itself, not just for the United States, but for other countries as well. And then for it to show up just months before it becomes relevant in a conversation of a major conflict, that's something to think about. That's all I gotta say.
Sag, abso-freaking-lutely. So this
You
is
can
just
say it. You can say it here.
absolutely. So this is my understanding. It's just my perspective only. But yes, what I have learned over these years is that there are what we would call extraterrestrials who are keeping an eye on our young, slightly barbaric, but we're evolving fast, slightly barbaric civilization. And they're watching because as I understand it, we did detonate a couple of nuclear weapons to kill humans in Japan, but we also have tested hydrogen bombs underground. So what we would call aliens obviously realized what was going on, and it's not okay because nuclear power, nuclear explosions through violent weapons can influence and hurt other what we would call dimensions, and that infringes on the free will of other sentient beings who are supposed to be able to live in reality and free will. And when we blow up nuclear weapons, it harms them. So what we might call aliens are keeping an eye on our young civilization to make sure we don't do that again. And if we
and
try,
Sean,
they're going to damage the weapons. They're going to stop
Could-
us.
Could you imagine if I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you
Oh, you're good.
imagine if that we were in a crater and we were doing that and near other craters?
Shit. So that would be like what I just described, but like stronger, bigger, more powerful, because we're gonna like physically destroy the neighbor. And
We got to remember, we're speculating just as much as that dude in the video that some of us are saying. Well,
For
where's
sure.
the
I'm
proof?
thinking that's
Well,
what
it's
this
the
show
same amount
is.
of speculation.
Absolutely.
Same exact thing. There's no proof. We're just speculating our belief.
Absolutely speculating.
You know, it's interesting, Sean, what you said about interdimensions. It kind of reminds me of that movie, The Mist. I don't know if you guys seen The Mist, but it's that was an army or not a military experiment that they were doing, where they accidentally destroyed a certain area, which opened up a dimension, and it went horribly wrong. And seems like, I mean, that's pretty close to what you were saying, is when we use our nuclear weapons, we destroy other dimensions.
That's an amazing analogy. I saw because my mom read all the Stephen King books. My mom she read so much, and like Stephen King was her favorite author. She like read like thousands of authors. I was number one. So I saw the Mist. It was the TV, not the awesome book version, but I saw the TV version. It was like a 6-part miniseries, or maybe not. That was the Stand. But the Mist was like a scary movie from Stephen King, and it's like cloudy and foggy outside, and you finally go outside, and there's these creatures and aliens and scary, and they're way bigger than you, and they can kill you. And at the end, we realized it was just the military like messing with wormholes and stuff. And it's a very tragic ending because some of the victims actually took their own life to get out of the misery, but they were actually still on Earth. They were just in a strange spot. But yes, what I just described about the nuclear weapons screwing with other beings and other what we would call dimensions. Yes, the Mist movie. Yes, that is a good analogy. That was awesome that you brought that up.
Cool.
Can you give me a wrench, Suso, long enough to post that link in chat for others to click on it?
Yeah, if I could figure out how to do
That's
that.
what made me
All right,
think
let me
of
do this first.
Or you
we
could
were
just share
talking
the
about
link if you want.
I'll do it. Give it to you. We were talking about UFOs. This was posted 14 hours ago. I'll find you a wrench while we put this up. Nice. I hope that was water.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I commented hi so you could find me in chat.
I don't even know where I'm at. And I'm sorry I'm missing what you guys are watching, looking for a wrench over here. Is it interesting?
I'd like to know where it is.
Oh, look at this. It's in another language. Great. I'll enjoy that. Let me find this dang wrench. Where am I at here?
I'd like to know where it is.
Yeah, I would too. Oh, look at this. It's in another language. Great. I'll enjoy that. Let me find this dang wrench.
ถ่ายในกระจกแล้วสะท้อนเป็นกระจกไม่ใช่กระจกครับแสงสะท้อนที่ได้มาจากไฟถนนครับสะท้อนจากเลนส์โทรศัพท์
Type something in again,
ที่ใช้
Sag?
เป็น iPhone 13 Pro ครับที่แรกเราก็คิดว่ามันเป็นดวงจันทร์เหมือนกันแต่ว่าถ้าปกติดวงจันทร์มันจะเป็นแบบนี้ครับ
Oh, there you are. Hi.
เราก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่ามันเป็นอะไร
Hide user on this channel. Okay.
เราถ่ายผ่านล้วนแล้วไม่ได้ถ่ายผ่านกระจกครับ
Let's see what else we got here. Hey man, you're welcome to jump in here. I think you got a link. You know who I'm talking to. I enjoy that. Well, Fizzy gets a wrench. So that's an automatic. She's probably still not. She's not here. Let's see. Oh, I could show that. I'm sorry. I have cautions on there, Crunchy B. But that last video that was hidden was now shown. All right. Hey, I'm back. Yeah, I don't really see anything but airplanes. Unless that's hovering.
Looked like it was hovering.
It was a hover.
Yeah, whatever it wasn't moving.
And there was one other I saw here. And look, it works now, right? You still see this. When I lose it? Yeah, I lost it. I guess it might have been this one. As it sprays its trails.
I don't. That little thing underneath it.
Yeah, one thing I noticed right away. Notice the bottom airstream. It is definitely affected by whatever's below it. If you look right behind that little object, the stream is different than the above one.
I saw that
like
too.
there's some type of turbulence or something messing with it.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's breaking up the stream. Interesting.
And Sadie, just so you know, I never seen your link pop up there. I seen where you said this is the link, but no link ever came up.
Okay, I'll go try again. Thanks, Armor.
Right here.
Exactly, right in there, you can see something's like something's messing with it.
Still, what the heck could do that?
Well, if it was like turbulence off of another flying aircraft, perhaps creating a little turbulence behind it, which not enough to affect the top one, but the one it's closer to, maybe.
What is it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's your link, Sadie. It popped up that time, brother.
Yeah, those little UFOs, it could be something that what we would call our government or our intelligence agencies possess through different means, and that's a story on its own how they get that. Or it could be what we would call UFOs, something from another world that's visiting. Pretty much, that does not look like another dimensional object, something from like the future or anything like that. Looks like it's either from human beings who copied technology that we learned about or found, or it's beings from not the Earth. In my opinion, only.
At first, I thought that's just a light that somebody imposed on this, but then it looked like it was flashing lights around, but no, maybe not. I don't know. I've got night vision, so I wouldn't know what that looks like anyway. So.
That brings up the question. I mean, a lot of people speculate on social media that they were getting ready to do either a false flag event and announce alien a presence in our society or whatever.
That one you can see the lights on the clouds. Okay, it's actually.
But then COVID happened, so it got delayed, and then now the war thing is happening. But that alien invasion is next up on the narratives. You think that's a real possibility? And if so, do you think they could pull it off, taking it, or do you think it is legitimately they're just been hiding it and it's coming due for them to go ahead and bring it forth? Thoughts on that subject?
What, after the war?
And yeah, I mean it's basically on standby whenever they decide that they want to use it. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I guess sure. They've implanted that long enough. And is it fake? Just like wars. It's real. It's people it's happening to. You know,
Yeah, it
but,
does seem like society is prepped and ready for it. That's for sure.
But that's the thing. I mean, how much, you want to get into this. How much, what are you getting from the media? How much is fabricated so people watch them? How much is exaggerated? I shouldn't say fabricated. I mean exaggerated, just so they'll watch it. It's going to be that way with the fake alien invasion too. And you know what? There's going to be a ship that's going to hit something, and somebody's going to videotape, and somebody's going to get I saw the whole thing, and people died, and oh my god, and
Well, like Shawn said, their technology is way beyond what we know. I totally believe that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I was in the military, and
correct.
So yeah, we had stuff that 20 years later became known. I'm like, well, we had that in the 80s. You know what I mean? It's like new, I guess. But anyhow, and so you have the Project Bluebeam aspect that could play into the alien deception, which I believe is a possibility. I believe that could be part of the chemtrailing thing, is to get their screen in place, along with other agendas. I'm sure the chemtrails have many, many agendas. But so yeah, I think the fake or real, although not real in the sense of coming from another planet, but real in the sense of looking like a UFO that's man-made with the technology we have that crashes. The fake, real, whatever you want to call it, alien invasion definitely is something they keep in their pocket as a backup fear factor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to give us they're going to try it out here pretty soon. Now, how much people will buy into it? I mean, I didn't think people would walk around in social distance and wear a mask and get jazzed, but I mean, they did. So, I mean,
I've actually thought about, and haven't really ever said anything, but I think it would be a perfect way, the Bluebeam technology and stuff, to play out Revelation and the second coming of Christ, and fool a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. I'm no longer amazed by what the media can convince the general populace to believe.
We've seen how much they'll just believe whatever they're told. 90% of them, it seems.
This is some interesting footage, though.
See, that looks a lot more like a plane, though, with the flashing lights. And at night, with a camera sort of out of focus, you could easily have a plane fly over and look like that.
It also reminds me of when we saw the drone fireworks. Like it could be a drone type thing.
Right. It could actually be, but it does seem to be at a distance, because when he tries to zoom in, it goes out of focus like an object at a distance would. If it was a close like a drone, you should be able to zoom in on it better, I would think. But at night, it's hard to zoom in on stuff. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure this is footage over Michael Fontaine's house. Just saying.
Well, that sums it all up right there. That explains everything. Did you say Michael Fontaine?
Yes, Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine? All right, so tell me what this is. This is actually, I videotaped this I want to say December 6th or 8th, 2019. If it comes up. Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh yeah, I've seen this before. We talked about this. This is awesome. I agree, Bit of Venom. It's going to be one heck of a show. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a good show.
What do you think of that, Shawn?
I've seen not in my own person, not with my own eyes. I've seen other footage of similar circles. These circles, it's not natural. It's definitely some sort of craft. The question is, who built it? Where's it from? And what's their intentions? But that is some sort of craft that's invisible, like Star Trek freaking cloaking technology. That's what I think it is.
Now I want you to look at this. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it also makes a. I can't think of the name of the symbol now. What is it?
No, we got null. There's. I actually
there's,
found.
I think it's a Greek letter. Isn't there a Greek letter?
Yes, and that was, I was going there too.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's the symbol for null. It's the null set. Nothing, everything, and nothing. I actually found about 12 mathematical symbols.
It's the Ghostbuster symbol, right?
I found 12. I mean, you got the equal sign, plus, minus. That was this thing. What else was out here? I found quite a few. And there's all these droplets that I guess I shouldn't have. Here you go. Every time I pause, can you see that right there?
I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, the wild flip
wait,
thing that
you know
keeps
what?
flipping
I'm
around.
not. I'm not on the page. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a way to. I can't get on there.
Another
I
interesting
guess we'll do it some
fact.
other time.
A circle with a line through the middle. If it's horizontal, that means waters. No, I'm looking at old historic Christian symbols. That would be waters, which is interesting. If the line was straight up and down, it would be for light and darkness. Just some old Christian symbols that would tie into that one.
Wow. So I guess we can try that. We're going to stick with the UFO. We're going to move this to the UFO and the moon at the same time here. StreamYard, share screen. After discovering an alleged flying vessel, self-styled alien hunter Scott C. Waring assured the aliens have a secret base on the moon. In his recent post, Waring claimed that these alleged flying machines were discovered from photos of the moon taken by NASA. Interestingly, in the image, a pyramid-shaped UFO can be seen hovering above the lunar surface. And the flying vessel can even be seen casting its shadow.
I believe he's talking about the little object to the right, and it is definitely casting a shadow. Well, it's a blowed up version on the left, I guess, but it's definitely casting a shadow.
It's different. It's weird.
But it looks like it may be on the ground. I don't know if it's. I mean, unless he has video of it moving. I mean, it looks like it could be flying, but it's sort of hard to tell. It looks like it could just be sitting on like a mountain peak or on.
And even so, whatever it is, it's shaped strange, but you can't really tell. You can make anything else up you want, really. I mean, it does look impelling.
And no doubt, it has definitely a metallic look to it.
How about this? What do we got here? 10 weird anomalies and bizarre conspiracies of the moon. I'm probably not going to read all these. Probably heard of them. Number 10, its dimensions and positioning are too perfect for some. Well, I said that earlier, right? Did we say that? Talk about eclipses and stuff?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it's hollow. I think we touched upon that as well, Sean.
I think the only one we haven't discussed is whether or not it's made of cheese.
But the Hollow Earth, like I never thought about it too much, but I did watch. Like I watched The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, even when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, way back. Yeah, we read The Hobbit, and then I saw the movies more recently, and I didn't really put two and two together. But eventually, enough people that I could intuitively feel that they like knew what they were talking about. I heard it too many times. I'm like, yeah. So I never been on the inner Earth, but I think whatever is down below our feet, there's whatever the shape of the Earth doesn't matter. There's something under there, and I think there's civilizations. And I think the Hobbit type philosophy in those books are at the very least, loosely based on real species.
Well, sure. I thought that too, and I always figured I could talk mud flood stuff all day. That sounds like mud flood. Our civilization is just standing on other civilizations.
I believe a lot of our old myths and legends, centaurs, and all that type of stuff. I agree. I believe it's based on real creatures that once
possibly
roamed
other
about.
civilizations. I love that idea. The old other civilizations that were just buried, and the next one came on.
I got a question about the Minotaur. The Minotaur. So that's like a half, like person, half animal.
Yeah, Minotaur, half bull, half tied with the labyrinth mainly.
So,
Yep.
What do you think? What is your best understanding of how that creature became into this world? Like how did that creature come here?
In my opinion, I go. I'm a Jesus follower. I don't call myself a Christian, but I'm a Jesus follower. So I believe it happened when the Watchers came down and bred women, because it also mentions that they messed with animals. So I believe it was just all part of their genetic experimentation, if you will.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate and relate to that idea. So if I would say that that's factual, but it was an interpretation, like translated over time. And perhaps another way to describe it would be like when the Atlantis and Lemuria civilizations were on the Earth, like we're talking 15, 20, 25,000 years ago, that there was technology and scientific experiments being done with genetics, and they were mixing like species together to create like hybrids, and God didn't like that, and that's one of the reasons the flood wiped them out, because they were playing God and creating new life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just two different terms of looking at the exact same thing. I have no problem with that theory at all. It still fits in with my theory. You know what I mean? Whether you call them Watchers or Atlanteans or Lemurians or whatever.
A lot of people call them Sumerians or Anunnaki. Anunnaki is a popular term for that description.
Yeah,
it's funny you guys mentioned that. I recently revisited a map from 1957, I believe or 1857. I'm sorry. And it has back then they took cartography, map making very seriously. Sailors and travelers relied on the accuracy of those maps, and they were often procured by royalty, by the queen or somebody to actually go and create these maps. And when you look at this map, it shows a lot of things that by today's standards we would consider mythological, but they believed it to be true back then. And was it because of stories, or were the stories based on actual real events? And it's something that just no longer exists, or has, I don't know how to explain it, but let's look at the map. I think you guys will find it interesting. You can zoom in on that, Suso, and look at more importantly, look at the edges of it. Use your mouse and zoom in on this map.
I think I'm in all the way. I'm in all the way.
You can't go any closer in with the
No.
zoom function.
No,
Wow.
Unless there's a zoom function I'm not aware of.
Almost looks like an Aztec map.
I don't know how much you guys can see of it, but some of the images there on the ocean, you see like where they're drawing like.
I'm 500%.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you'd be able to zoom in. On my phone, I'm able to zoom in real close on it, but I guess your computer doesn't let you give you that same functionality.
Your phone's more expensive than my computer. I don't know.
But sorry about that. I didn't mean to lead you down a wild goose chase.
No, what were you trying to show? I mean,
well,
you
there's
see
images
the ice
that
wall.
show on that you can see on that map if you could zoom in closer, but since you can, it's kind of a moot point.
Well, this looks like South America, Africa, the United States, Asia, and you got the ice wall.
Yeah, I've seen that map. I've looked at it before up close. In fact, I have it saved also. It is. There's like he's saying there's centaurs, there's dragons, there's lands marked with,
wow. How
with certain
cool.
creatures.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I'll put the link for that in the chat as well. Anybody who's interested in looking at it.
Do that. Moon's craters are strange. Well, we've talked about that. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Although I don't know that we're getting real craters. Maybe that people's cameras are so good they're getting really good shots of these craters, which are reflections. That would be great, huh? If it's that, if this little tiny thing, well, this would be all of this is not the crater, but if this was Antarctica, if this was our crater, and this, if that's true, and this was Antarctica, the United States would be this tiny little thing in here. And the perspective is just ridiculous. Amazing. I mean, how big the infinite plane could be. Or this infinite flat plane, because you don't know that it's a ball, so it looks like a ball. It's perspective. Next. The moon's many artificial structures. We were just looking at some of those. We've covered so far 4 of these, right? It was brought here and placed in orbit. We haven't talked about that, have we?
No.
I've heard that theory. Although I did say that it wasn't here all the time. There was an article I read about it before the moon was here, or before the moon was, I don't think they said placed, but before the moon. Maybe that's how they worded it, before the moon.
Suso, some of the most evil people will say that the moon was brought here to help keep the humans in a prison and send negative energy to this planet from the moon. I don't buy it.
I believe that ties in with the Anunnaki, and if I'm remembering correctly, I believe that ties in with that theory, that they used that as a stepping stone, a port, more or less, to keep their eye on their slaves that they had mining their gold.
Yeah, similar thoughts also talk about Saturn, I think, also being part of that or something.
Right, yep. Saturn's a major part of that also, yeah.
And Saturn was also a major part of our friend that we're doing the crater videos on. He goes into something I think we didn't talk about, that Saturn, actually it's later in his videos, Saturn are the beings that are trying to terraform our planet. Something went wrong. It didn't work out. Now they're trying to terraform Mars.
But he calls them
Saturn
the Atlanteans, though.
He says this people on Saturn are actually the
Atlantis, yes.
And instead of transforming ours, now they're going to transform Mars. So what are they doing with ours? I guess alien invasion, which brings us to number 5. It is a result of alien intelligence, which we just talked about.
I got a question.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Saturn ties in with Atlantis. I thought Neptune tied in with Atlantis, because
we're talking that guy's theory, just that guy's theory. The crater moon guy.
I got you.
Yeah, Saturn ties in with a lot, though. Saturn ties in with Freemasons. Saturn ties in with all kind of stuff.
God give them a stay. That's his name. I have no idea. Goj Villamiste. I have no idea how to pronounce that.
Goj Vlasme or something, yes.
Okay, Godgvlamste. All right. The moon's rotation is also unique. Now, God Villamiste has touched on that. I still don't understand that. I don't understand how it's rotating or moving or whatever.
Right. I don't think the moon's moving in a rotational form at all. That's why we only see the,
I mean, if it's, I'm just going to say, what if it's flat and it's just moving sideways and you only see part of it because that's all that's there? What if we only see what's actually there? And when we see the new moon, we're looking at the back of this thing and it's a disc.
Well, that's the one thing that I could take from his theories, and he's not the only one. Well, he's the only one I know with the crater moon theory, but there's also other videos that think the moon's a reflection of Earth, but they think it's a reflection of, we're not just a crater, we're the whole moon, basically.
Right, and I've gotten into that. I may have.
And that would make a lot of sense as to why you only see one side, because you can only reflect one side. When you look in a mirror, you don't see the other side. So it's the same idea. And that ties into those theories.
And it is strange how it does seem like it turns, because I'll look at the moon when it's full and it seems like it's always that way. But when it's not completely full, some of these darker areas, where am I? Some of these darker areas are kind of moved up. So I don't know. Something's moving. Alex Collier's Letters from Andromeda. Now, I remember reading about...
That could also be caused because of the way the shadow is being cast, or the reflections being cast. It could cause the shadows to move. Just saying, it's a possibility. I mean, it's a theory.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you see a elliptical of the moon from below. Sometimes it's from the side. Sometimes it's from the other side. So the shadows are going to be elongated in different directions, which is which is going to create a semi-different look to the moon. But then again, when it's full, it's always direct light straight on. So that would explain that.
Now, a lot of this information reminds me of the 80s because I read this stuff. Didn't realize it had anything to do with the moon when I glanced over it. I guess this being that he was having telepathic communications with the Zentia from the Zentia constellation. It was actually, according to Collier, the moon was actually a huge spaceship that arrived here millions of years ago, carrying reptilian hybrids from the first humans to set foot on Earth. Collier said that the moon was hollow and there are several secret entrances around the surface. He also confirmed that a metal shell existed below the surface. Even more outlandish, I'll read that. He claimed that there were remains of ancient alien bases on the inside of the moon left over from a huge war that was fought 113,000 years ago. The bases were now occupied by secret world government and is working alongside the extraterrestrial race. I remember reading about that stuff.
Yeah, as far-fetched as that sounds, I mean, I'm not trying to say, oh, well, that's it. That's exactly what's going on. But hey, it's just as possible as any other theory I've heard. I have to admit that.
I'm trying
and again, it ties into the Anunnakian Palladian thing again. They put it as the base to create their slave race, and the Palladians try to help us. And I'm sure you've all heard of that stuff.
Okay, well, now I guess I know where I found this saying without reading it. Ancient text speaks of a time before the moon. Many ancient writings speak of a time before the moon. In turn, many scholars have quoted these works over the centuries. For example, Aristotle wrote of Arcadia, stating that the land was occupied before there was a moon in the sky above the Earth. Similarly, couldn't get similarly out right. I'm going to get Apollonius of Rhodes spoke of a time when not all the orbs were yet in the heavens. Huh. And the tribe of in Colombia also has such notions in their traditional origin legends. They state in earliest times when the moon was not yet in the heavens. The wording sounds remarkably similar of that of Apollonius. Perhaps also of interest, particularly given the bizarre claims of the moon being put into position around the Earth, are some Zulu legends which say that the moon was dragged across space from a great distance. Most of these accounts also speak of intense disruption into its orbit. Number one, operational bases. So that's, yeah, time before the moon. Operational bases. I'm sure we've all heard about that stuff. So that's all moon stuff. We also have this glass stuff that we didn't go into. Lunar conundrum. Yeah, I can't do it. Mysterious balls of glass spotted on the surface of the moon. But see, I'm not buying that there's anything on the moon, but I don't know. A pair of mysterious glass balls have been discovered on the moon surface of the Moon China Lunar rover. It just looks like a pearl or a marble and some dirt, man. No. What else we got here? Pyramids. People keep finding pyramids on the moon.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of moon researchers that have found like supposed pyramids and walls and all kinds of stuff like that. I can't think of their name offhand, but he was a really good channel that did a lot about that.
I'm not reading all that. Interesting picture. Now, I wonder if I'd be able to go check out the Hubble moon pictures, because I'll tell you what, earlier this afternoon, I went on and I went Hubble moon shots or Hubble moon photos. I got 3 of about a half hour of looking for Hubble moon shots. I got about 3 shots, and they were nothing. It was nothing that I could tell. I wonder if I'd be able to find this in those 3 pictures. No, I don't think so. I don't understand where these people are getting these pictures, because I'm on the internet. I can't find them.
Crunch Bang, the Gospel of Thomas is like one of my favorite gospels of all time, but I get a lot of trouble when I say that.
Norm, are you getting in trouble again?
Yes, always. Usually anytime I open my mouth on a live show, but hey, that's what you get.
All right. Let's play a little. Where was I just at? Oh, there I am. Okay, this green dot here is Supulus Gallus M. Supiculus Gallus M. And I also was looking up Supiculus Gallus M on Wiki, and maybe it's because I wasn't spelling it right. I think I did spell it right. I don't know. M's not coming up. It's just coming up Spicuculus Gallus, and it's not giving me this crater M. So I'm wondering if, there's a bigger crater here that's just called straight up, because this one's something else. What's this one here? Hold on. I heard a noise. Let me just check real quick. We're good.
So that was me dropping something in Hangouts.
Oh, okay. Supiculus Gallus A, and this is M. So I guess all these little tiny things are. Now this is I'm going to say this is it too. This is what I was looking for earlier. Yeah, look how big. I mean, if that's true, look how much is out here. Let's get into this and look into this, where this. That's as far as it's letting me go. You got that?
You are here, Steve. You're the
I'm
green guy.
Yeah, we're the green guy. We're the Martians. And this here is the crater right next to us, which he speculates in later videos is where all the reptilians are hanging out watching us. Right next to our crater. I did a little exploring out here. And as I recall, there was like a super big, bright crater that I kept looking at. And it really caught my attention. It was the one thing I was talking about earlier, but it doesn't look like it's going to come to pass here unless that's it. No. It's just right around the circle edges. No.
Hey, I'll be right back, guys.
Go ahead, man. I always usually go and don't tell anybody. I don't think I got caught yet. But I mean, I want to know what I'm looking at here because I find this so fascinating. Here you go. I'm going to do this. This is these things, these lines. Okay, you're going underground. In this crater, there is life all around it. This is where everybody lives. They're experiencing their reality. There's no barriers. They don't care. They travel to other craters. They travel to other worlds. Not only that, you got this. If these things are as big, if this crater here is as big as our Earth's crater, then, hey, it's like, yeah, I'm going to so-and-so world. Hey, you're going to drop off and check out I mean, to me, it's amazing. But these lines are more than just lines. And they seem to travel to these craters. They connect.
Yeah, they're the route. They're how you get from point A to point B, right?
Right. Instead of and maybe this area here is populated with a more secluded. They're into each other here, so they're traveling from crater to crater.
Yeah, they've established trade or commerce.
Yeah, and it's so far from out here, they don't even know what's out here. Maybe they do. Maybe they stay away. And how about this? Crater in a crater? Is that what that is? You're gonna have a civilization in here. Oh, that's probably light, not an ice wall, but you have a civilization in here that they can't get out. You got these people in here, they can't get out. I mean, I just find it fascinating if this crater thing is any remotely even plausible. I mean, is it? I don't know. I mean, why is this brighter than anything else in the area? Well, because maybe it's a higher mountain. Maybe it's not a crater. Maybe it's a mountain. And it's blocking the light from here. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, actually.
And that one you was just on, you can see it's actually almost radiating light out around it.
Right.
You get back to that one you was just on, you can see like rays coming out from it almost.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why is that brighter than anything else?
Yeah, zoom back out. You can see it much better zoomed out. On out. Look at all the light around it.
Right, it does stand out, as does this one here. This one here stands out.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's like the peak of a mountain or something.
On the far right is also another one. I mean, that whole area looks lit.
Look at this. I mean, could it be the rays of whatever is shining? I mean, I suppose. And I'm looking at these lines. I don't even want to look at them. They're not, to me, they're not dark enough. They're not going to show up as that. Maybe they will. Traveling ports. Traveling ports for the physical. Because I'll bet all these beings don't have to travel that way.
You're going a little too fast. It's hard for me to keep up.
Oh, sorry. I'll slow down. I'm getting excited. And this is not the physical realm. They don't have any of those ports. I mean, I don't know. Look at this.
if it was
Is
all
this
made of the same
life?
substance like we're told, everything should reflect the same light. There shouldn't be bright spots, dark spots. If it's all the same type substance, I wouldn't think.
This is
Yeah, it should
reminiscent.
just be it should be an equal balance of light and shadow based on the curve or the depth, but not like an area that's brighter than others. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Armor.
These people have an easy way out. They know where they're going.
Welcome back, Fizzy.
Fizzy got a wrench. Behave in there with that.
Oh, yeah, she'll zap you. She loves zapping.
I just find it interesting that there's craters and craters. Some are brighter than others. For what reason? Because of the sun shining on it at a certain angle. It looks like outer space to me. I do contemplate this theory that he talks about, that outer space, the stars and the planetary objects are a reflection of our bigger Earth, and that the moon is a reflection of our bigger Earth. And I always said, well, I love that. That sounds like a hologram. And maybe some of the not so bright stars are a hologram behind it. I found that interesting, but like I've been saying, what are they giving us here? Are they giving us some truth here?
Well, I mean, and of course they keep telling us that we're eventually going to colonize the moon, right?
Because let's look at this right now. Except for the circles, you could be looking at a satellite from Earth. I mean, and saying, "Oh, that's North America." What did you say, Saji? I totally didn't even hear
Well,
you.
they try to convince us that we're eventually going to colonize the moon.
That should have been done long ago. We're already looking at Mars. The reason we're not colonizing the moon is because people can actually see the surface of the moon with their own homemade camera or their home cameras now.
Right.
I don't want to interrupt anybody or anything, but just real quickly, I sent an invite to Noble SD. If he's still in the chat, I'd like to invite him for our Shifty Sunday show. That's all. All right.
I invited him in here. He should have one in his email.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wants to jump in, he's absolutely welcome to jump in here. And yeah, Shifty Sunday, Noble, go get it. When are we playing that game again? I need a distraction from all this stuff. Look at this. You got a trail coming right into this little city or this little civilization. I mean, I don't see buildings or anything, but this could be all underground. Who knows what's here? If this is America, we ain't gonna. If this is the size of America, we're not gonna see anything. Wow, they let me in that close. I mean, that's a nice left-hand turn there, right-hand turn there, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Another one.
And it seems to lead over to that mountain range, like they're going out there and mining, perhaps. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Just to speculate.
In a mine, bring the stuff back.
Yep.
And I thought this one too. This one's going kind of leading out there. I don't know. Find it all interesting. Glad you. That's nice, strategically placed. Crater. I mean, how come this one's so lit and this one's not? Well, maybe this is a mountain covering this one up.
It seems to be higher than the other one, like above it, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty fascinating stuff. What else did we have up here? We already did that. What's this one? We already did this. It's official. We already did that. Well, no, let's do this.
For people who are not familiar with my work, let's recapitulate. You shoot a shuttle in orbit of the bigger Earth. You make a 3D scan of the bigger Earth and you present it to the people as being the moon map. If this is true, the moon map and the shuttle images will be the same. Let's examine if we find some more proof of that.
And we all look forward to your return and their return later on here to Earth. Bill, we certainly enjoyed the opportunity to talk to Mike, and Maurice sure seems in good spirits. Thanks for setting that up.
It was a pleasure, and we sure appreciate you folks letting us listen along with you. Ich kan wel så lätt. Sen ska vi jag kör först ju and there. Help us we are.
That's a temporary position in the field. Take you out, not doing those numbers you with them.
Here we have our first image. Let's compare that with the moon map of our crater.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, I didn't tell you I left. I kind of see that. I kind of really see that. Probably more than some of the other stuff he's
So
put out.
these are the second images I found of our crater Sulpicius Gallus M. Let's look at another one. First, take a look at two big craters, and then move along to our crater, the crater under the white line. Let's make a simulation with a moving moon map. You see the two big craters on the right. I think this is the landscape we are looking at. Take a look at this one, a gigantic whirlwind moving in a crater. And a spiral of clouds in the center, which proves there is a climate on the bigger Earth. Another one. So let's compare that with the first one. And on the right you see Epcot, and on the left our crater.
And he's called that Epcot one or two times before, and that's because he's comparing it with the map of Disney and how Disney set up his Disney World in I don't know that we went over. I believe we went over it in the first time we were talking about this stuff, the first video, about how it just straight down, how it all lines up, how his Disney World is a map of parts of the bigger Earth or our crater.
This one is a tricky one. I'm not quite sure of it, but I suspect this is another one. This one I'm showing because of all the craters. Do you know a place on Earth with that amount of craters on the surface? I don't.
For example, Mars has the highest volcano in the world, in the known solar system.
When I'm looking at the pictures of the shuttle, the two most
Did you catch what he said there?
they are showing are craters.
No, should I back it up? I kind of
pay attention to what that guy says. He slips up.
With
figured it was a slip.
Craters on the surface? I don't.
Solar system, he says, or something.
For example, Mars has the highest volcano in the world, in the known solar.
In the world, in the moon, in the solar system.
Do you know? This one don't.
For example, Mars has the highest volcano in the world, in the known solar system.
When I'm looking at the pictures of the shuttle, the two most important subjects they are showing are crater Earth and crater Mars. Here we are looking at images of what I think is the crater, half of it. On the moon map it would be something like this, and you stop at the half of the crater, it would be something like this if you show the complete image. Let's do another simulation with the moon map. And stop on the half of the crater. Let's make a detailed comparison and start with this pale spot there on the left and compare it with a rock. This is, in my view, the silhouette of this mountain. Move along and make a freeze frame and zoom in on the right. The line of dots I call the feather. The feather will reappear in other images. Move along and let's take a look at the silhouette of the crater. Compare that with the moon crater Mars, Hadley C on the map. Look at the black African-like silhouette. Let's take a look at the snake, which I think is a big river. When you take a look at the soil, you see it's kind of reddish, like in Africa. So that's why they call it the red planet. Now some more images of Mars. The first thing you see is an enormous ocean, and there you see the snake-like figure. The shuttle camera is zooming in, and then you know they are showing you something. This is it, I think. You might be missing some part of the river, but when you zoom in, here it is. Some detailed comparison. You have the feather again, and the crater itself looks a bit weird. It only makes sense when you add this line here. Moving down, you see the mountains reflected in the dome as the asteroid belt. Well, here is your exploded planet. This one I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's also Mars, that tiny little crater.
Actually, somebody holding up a piece of old cloth.
In the next one, we see Earth and Mars in one video. First flip the images vertically and compare with the moon map. Let's add some water. Let's start flying and look at the bottom picture, the blue. You will see some flickering in the water. So there is water near our crater. On the bottom video, you will see that the camera is turning. That means they are showing you something. This is another image of our crater. Let me show you what you have to look at. Add some light spots on the top image, and the blue one almost looks like a turtle. Here it is. Take a look at the silhouette of the water. And let's move along to Mars. Lying in the mountains. There you have the mountains, bathing in sunlight.
So it's transporter things.
And Mars must be approximately there. If these images are real-time, that means that you can fly from Earth to Mars in about 2 minutes. Well, when you are looking for the silhouette of our crater, you are looking for a keyhole. What is the most famous keyhole on the planet? That is the Vatican, of course. Take a look at the map of the Vatican in Rome. So my assumption would be that the Basilico San Pietro is Epcot, the Piazza San Pietro is the hillside, and Castel Sant'Angelo is our crater, the pentagram, and of course the Tiber. If this is true, they must know for a long time how our crater looked like. Castel Sant'Angelo was built in 135 AD and the Basilica Papale in 1506. So in 1506 they knew the existence of Epcot. One of my viewers thinks that Epcot stands for Ape Cot. In Flemish and Dutch, an apecot, apricot, is the cage of the monkey. Us being the apes, of course. He thinks that some material of our bodies is detained in an apecot, cathedral-like system. A bit like this. And it's being parasited on. Some people are reacting in the comments and they say, you are using images of NASA. NASA are liars. Absolutely, NASA are liars. But we have to use the weapons of the enemy against them. I will use the images of NASA, of the shuttle, to prove they are conning the whole world. And once this is getting mainstream, you can say goodbye to NASA and all the parasites. So now I will show a few images who are CGI'd, and one of their main targets they love is the Red Sea, probably because it's close to Egypt, home of the Atlanteans, the parasites. So you just add a fake curvature. Here another example. Look closely to the Red Sea. There's absolutely no perspective in the Red Sea. And what they are doing here, they are just moving a black curved belt. Give me 5 minutes. Once in a while they put in some high altitude images. This one I think they put in there on purpose. They are playing a very clever game. They want especially the flat earthers to think it's all CGI, because the flying ball circus people are not going to check out these images. Again, it's the story of the red pill or the blue pill. Well, I don't want any pill. I want the guy who is giving me the pill.
Yeah, I thought that was good when I first heard it.
Then you get up above the earth. You look down on the beautiful earth, and you see evidence of mankind down on the earth, both good and bad. You look out in the heavens, you see the comets, you see the moon, you see the stars rising and setting over the earth's limb. You realize that you really are very small, very, very lucky.
And a very big liar too. I wonder what all those people are going to tell to their grandchildren. Grandpa was a big liar. I told everybody that I was flying over a little blue ball in space. Sorry, people. Yeah, sure. We mortals come to this thing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will keep looking for evidence, which I'm sure I will find. There's lots of other
What do you think he
stuff
finds?
on the internet. So
I don't know. So is everybody still with me?
Well, I'm still.
Hey. Hey. Hebrew dozed off. Well, I don't really
He's
have.
probably making a sandwich. He'll be back.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't think I have anything else. No, I'm done. I'm done for now. I could show you my crypto stuff.
Yeah, well, Dan just left a comment, and he said that you need to go back to your crypto.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, I figure this is all out of the box stuff. I find it very interesting. I find a lot of the stuff still interesting, and I'm turned off by a lot of stuff, as I can see why a lot of other people would be really shunned away from it. I mean, I know people can buy views and stuff. The guy's getting 50,000 views a video, and I'm sure every time he comes out with one, I'm sure I'm going to jump on it and watch it.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I have to admit, I'm intrigued by the whole concept. Do I buy in 100%? Well, of course not. But it's still something. It is still something. It's a unique take. It's definitely worth. It was worth exploring. I don't know that I'd want to start making a video about it every week or anything like that. But it was a nice little rabbit hole to travel down with you today, Sue. So
Yeah,
I
and I'm
definitely
glad we
enjoyed
did it. definitely glad we did it. I have other ideas for a possible out of the box kind of show thing. Go ahead, Sean. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time. Armor?
Yeah, great show.
I mean Hebrew.
No, I just I enjoyed what we did on Shifty Sunday, and I very much enjoyed tonight's show as well. Just exploring the rabbit hole with you and Shawn. I think I might have met you before one other time, but it's been a long time ago, and I appreciate being on with you as well.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, and it's good. It's good reconnecting for sure.
Yeah, and I agree. It's a good rabbit hole to get down. I don't buy into everything he's saying either, but I'm always open-minded enough to look at what he considers as evidence. I find his religious stuff more interesting than the crater Earth stuff myself, but I think he's really onto something with his religious views. Although, like I said, in my opinion, he mixes Jesus up into the mess, which I don't. Jesus came against all that mess, but I understand why he does it and how he does it. But yeah, he's got a good bit right, in my opinion, about the religious stuff. I've come to the same conclusions long before I ever came across him. So,
if I'm not mistaken, I believe next week's show will be on the concave Earth, and Scarab Performance will be my special guest.
Awesome! I'm looking forward to that.
That's actually not true. He makes me pay him, so I can't.
I thought he was doing hollow Earth with you, not concave Earth.
He's doing concave. It intrigues him, but he's not going to do videos on it. You saw.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do have an idea. If I do another video on basically out of the box thinking, I have an idea I want to address. We'll see. See if
all right. Well, I'll be there for it if I'm invited.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I'll definitely have to invite you. You're the one that kind of keeps things going. You get, when there's silence, you jump right in. So,
well,
he's used to that from Shifty Sunday. He's used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I've always got something to say. Now, how smart or intelligent it might be, that's debatable.
All right, I guess we'll close this out. Thanks a lot for coming on, guys. I appreciate all you. Armor Up, Saji, Shawn Indigo, Hebrew 77. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody in chat. I stayed away from chat. I figured that was trouble, so I just ran away. But let's hope there's another out of the box thinking show. Thanks a lot for joining, everybody.